Hi, I'm Robert Fitzgerald. I'm the Age Discrimination Commissioner with the Australian Human Rights Commission. And today I'm pleased you're able to join us on this next episode of our series, Let's Talk Ageing. These are a series of conversations with Australia's thought leaders in relation to older people and the ageing of Australia, and raising many issues, challenges, and also celebrating the work that we're doing in Australia for older people. Today I'm especially pleased to be able to welcome Pat Sparrow, the CEO of COTA Australia, that's Council of the Aging.
That's right.
So welcome, Pat.
Thank you for having me on the series. I think it's a really important series, and particularly on International Day of Older Persons.
So let's start with that, Pat. The International Day of Older Persons is a day in which we celebrate older people right throughout the world. But from your work in COTA and your work generally, why do we value older people, and why is this day such an important day?
I think it's an important day because we need to make sure that we do value older people, and I think we don't think about it very consciously sometimes. And I think days like an Older Persons Day actually bring it to the fore for the community, for all of us who are working, to make sure that we are thinking about older people. I think we do have issues in the country where we don't always think about older people, and that's what we need to really try and start to address.
And do you think Australia actually values older people?
Not as much as I think we should. I think, like most countries, we don't think about it. We don't think about ageism, and we see older people in a particular way. And I think we need to shift that.
So before we look at some of the challenges, how do you sort of personally approach ageing for yourself and for your family members?
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's a thing. We are all ageing. And I guess I'm approaching it the best way I know how. But I'm conscious that some of the things that I do actually indicate the internalised ageism that people have. So I still dye my hair, for example, because I've been told sometime in my youth that people won't listen to a grey-haired old lady. So, you know, I think there are those things, but I'm trying to tackle it with grace and with style, which is what I'd like to do. And I think I saw my mother do that, my older sisters doing that, and actually being who they are. And I do feel, as I've got older, that I'm more me than I've ever been at any time in my life. And I think it's important that we do that and we embrace it, and that we are looking at the opportunities, the things that I still want to be able to do, as well as some of the challenges we have facing.
What are some of the key challenges for older people that COTA is currently working on?
Well, look, we work for anyone over the age of 50 across all of the various things that might impact on a person's life. So we're active in the health space and the employment space, in aged care, in retirement incomes, and there's a lot of things happening in all of those areas. But one of the things that I've really kind of come to understand in my role is that ageism is actually at the core of many of the challenges that we're addressing across them. And so COTA has started to be much more active in talking about ageism, calling ageism out, whether it's that internalised ageism, but also what we see a lot in the work we do is benevolent ageism in care settings, the way health and aged care interacts and treats older people, through to discrimination that is more in employment, where we see recruiters not wanting to employ someone over the age of 50. So we are trying to raise those issues and to look at what are the structural, legislative, regulatory changes that are needed. So we want to do the awareness raising, but what are the things that we can then do structurally to make sure that ageism can be managed?
So in your discussions with the government at the moment, what would be the 2 or 3 key issues amongst all of those that stand out for you?
The two things that are really obviously at the moment that are really ongoing, things like aged care reform, and the thing that we're really pushing is that we get a new act that's a rights-based act, because it's shocking to think that older people don't have rights in aged care. So we want to make sure that that happens and that we get that right, and that people are respected and valued and supported to make their own decisions rather than having people make decisions for them. The other one is in retirement incomes. The government's doing quite a lot of reform around retirement incomes, and again we're looking at how do we make sure in the way that those reforms roll out that older people can have a good retirement, do the things that they want to do in retirement, and continue to be financially sort of able to live the life they want to live. And that's difficult. We know the cost of living is affecting many people, but those are the two that are really hot at the moment.
And do you feel you're getting a good hearing in the political landscape?
Yes, I think we are. One of the things that we would advocate for, though, across all of the things that we're doing, is that we think there needs to be a strategy for an ageing Australia. We think that what happens at the moment, there's some good things that happen, some not so good things happen, but it happens in silos in particular portfolios or particular areas. What we'd like to see government do is take a much more overarching look, because the demographics tell us we're going to have many more older people. So we'd like to see a much broader look across. What does government need to do to make sure that we can have an ageing Australia and people can contribute to that society?
And if people want to get engaged in these conversations, these issues, in the work of COTA, how could they best do that?
Look, you can be a supporter for COTA. You can come to our website, cota.org.au, and sign up to be a supporter. And we do, with everything that we do, we try and make sure that we're raising the voice of older people directly. So we do a lot of engagement, a lot of work. We recently submitted to the menopause inquiry, for example. We held focus groups with older women about their experiences. We'll do surveys on particular topics. So it is an opportunity for you to inform our advocacy and to have your voice heard with government.
That's a great way to finish. Thanks very much, Pat. And thank you for being part of the Let's Talk Ageing series. And for everyone out there, may you age well.